Hi, it's Tom with a look at Zelda Breath of the Wild's latest patch 1.11. This update lands on both Switch and Wii U, and in Nintendo's own words, adjustments have been made to make for a more pleasant gaming experience. It's light on detail definitely, but for the Switch version in particular, it doesn't take long to realise performance is now much improved over the previous patch 1.10. I'll be covering the Wii U version later in this video, but for now, here's a side-by-side focusing on Switch while in docked mode. Also, it's worth stressing I'll be showing later areas, a well-known village and a notoriously demanding forest to really push the engine, so if you're sensitive to spoilers, I'd recommend avoiding later parts of this video. Either way, I can still prove the point with this opening hillside test. A brief point on the technical makeup of the game first. Visually speaking, there's really no change on Switch compared to patch 1.10. You get the same draw distance for objects, grass density, effects quality, and even dynamic resolution works as it did before. Breath of the Wild runs at 900p while docked on Switch, dropping to 90% on each axis at stress points, meaning it renders at 810p only when needed. No change there then, but the real benefit of patch 1.11 is in frame rate. Right off the bat, it's clear the smaller drops to 20 FPS in this initial mountain walk are smoothed over. Not perfect, but missing the many drops we had before. More telling is that running around this grass patch now produces a perfect 30 FPS cadence just like the Wii U version and Switch in portable mode. Compared to the 20 FPS line on 1.10, it's much improved. Again, there's no difference in visual quality to explain it. On Switch, Nintendo has optimized its engine behind the scenes rather than making a direct compromise to image quality. This is a pure improvement with no strings attached, which is really great news. The same goes for other outdoors areas like the exit to the Ruko Marg Shrine. Again, this spot ran at a sluggish 20 FPS lock before, the high dense poly count on all these spikes being the apparent cause. But now we're staring at a far more consistent 30 FPS. It's not a perfect delivery, and Zelda's double buffer VSync still clearly attempts to hard lock the game to 20 FPS when frames run past a 33.3 millisecond render time. But on the whole, you don't need a frame rate graph to know this plays out more smoothly on patch 1.11. More surprising still, if you're running in handheld mode, this shrine area outputs at a perfect 30 FPS on the Switch's smaller screen, where on patch 1.10 it was struggling. Playing on Switch in portable mode gives the best performing experience possible. The resolution goes down to 720p as usual, with a dynamic res pushing that down further to 648p at points, but you do get a straight 30 FPS line all the way through here. Okay, I'll raise the spoiler flag now. For those wanting to experience this game completely fresh, feel free to look away now. Okay, next up is Kakariko Village, which again isn't a smooth 30 on this latest patch, but takes a visible leap ahead. To really hammer the Switch GPU, we're running straight through the center with heavy rain. Lots of alpha effects causing that flat line at 20 FPS. But amusingly, patch 1.11's performance fluctuates constantly between these two lines, causing it to appear around 25 FPS. It's far from ideal, but again it is smoother and there's more performance overhead to work with in complex village areas. Last but not least, this is Karak Forest. Many of you have asked to see this one tested, and I can immediately see why. It's a monster on performance. The combination of volumetric fog, lots of geometry and dense grass absolutely tanks frame rate here. And well, whether you're on the latest patch or not, you'll still see plenty of dips. But the point is, the improvement is tangible on update 1.11. While docked, you'll see a boost by as much as 10 FPS over the last patch up points. One caveat here, Karak Forest is one of few areas I've found to still drop frames while in Switch's handheld mode. But the good news is, with the latest patch, it's much rarer. Again, running portably, it's a more consistent 30 FPS than either docked test here. The takeaway on Switch, it's far from perfect, but you're getting a big leap in performance overall. For perspective, the average frame rate across all these stress tests on patch 1.10 is 25.3 FPS, compared to 29 FPS on patch 1.11. That's almost a 20% increase in performance in spots where it really gets bogged down, and the best part is there's no visual sacrifice to achieve it. Alright, let's move on to the Wii U version, and I'm sad to say performance boosts here aren't so pronounced. As ever, visual quality stays precisely in place from patch 1.10, and on patch 1.11 frame rates are almost identical too. Besides slight variations here and there, the general consistency is very close, and the fact readings switch between 20 and 30 FPS at the exact same points on this mountainside walk suggests Wii U hasn't seen the same attention as Switch. The pattern is identical, the engine load is the same, and we're getting the same results. Looking at a more complex area like Kakariko Village, it's arguable there's a slight improvement. Performance strays further from 20 FPS, but still it's not a clear-cut advantage, and most of these fall in the margin of error. The best example of this is a sideways run with the village centre in view. You get a lock 20 on both patches. On the whole, Wii U still has big problems in these built up areas. Expect a lot of sluggish 20 FPS playback whether you update or not here, which is a shame, but given the time Nintendo's had to work with this older machine, a sudden performance boost at the last minute seemed less likely. For the best performance across the board, the Switch version in portable mode is king, with Switch docked in second place and Wii U trailing behind. Anyway, that about wraps it up. If you found this analysis at all helpful, please do like or subscribe to support what we do. Also, a massive thank you to those who came to see us at Eurogamer Res this year too. It was great catching up with you, and I really hope to catch you next time. Until the next video though, thanks for watching.